Have you ever stood in the quiet of the Nigerian savannah, feeling the dry Harmattan wind brush your skin and wondered what secrets it carries? Imagine that same wind, centuries ago, carrying not just dust but the whispers of merchants, the scent of exotic spices, the distant sounds of camel bells. These were not random whispers. They were echoes from a network of hidden roads, secret arteries of commerce and culture, forgotten highways that connected great kingdoms long before modern maps were drawn. Threads that wove the very fabric of our history, far richer and more interconnected than we were taught. More than dirt tracks through the forest or trails across the Sahel, they were lifelines. Conduits of power, wealth, and incredible knowledge. Think of the great Oyo Empire, the sophisticated Benin Kingdom, the scholarly Kanem-Bornu Empire, the vibrant Nok civilization. We learn of them as separate powers, but that is only part of the story. Made possible by a complex, often clandestine system of trade routes known to trusted guides and seasoned traders who navigated with skill and courage. Understanding these hidden roads is like finding a secret chapter in Nigeria's story. It challenges narratives of isolation, revealing a past of constant interaction, exchange, and mutual growth. These routes were the internet of their time. Ideas traveled as swiftly as caravans. A stage where a pan-Nigerian identity was first performed, long before the name Nigeria existed. This story is about how diverse peoples came to know and influence one another, and helped build the foundations of the nation we know today. As we begin to rediscover these lost pathways, we are not just digging up old roads. We are uncovering truths about our ancestors, their ingenuity, ambition, and deep understanding of the world. They were explorers, diplomats, entrepreneurs. When we speak of empires, we often picture magnificent palaces, powerful armies, legendary kings. But what truly sustains an empire? It is its connections. The ancient trade routes of Nigeria were the vital arteries that fed its great kingdoms, allowing them to flourish and expand their influence far beyond their immediate borders. These were not simple footpaths. They were sophisticated networks linking dense southern forests and arid northern savannas, and stretching beyond to trans-Saharan trade routes reaching North Africa and the Middle East. These paths were the physical manifestation of ambition and the primary tool for statecraft and economic dominance. The rise of civilizations like the Oyo Empire, Benin Kingdom, Kanem-Bornu Empire. For the Oyo Empire, control over routes to the coast meant access to European goods, especially horses, which were essential for their formidable cavalry. For the Benin Kingdom, forest pathways brought in resources such as ivory pepper. These were traded for brass and copper, used to create world-renowned bronze sculptures. These routes were strategic assets, fiercely guarded and sometimes fought over. They represented the difference between prosperity and decline, influence and obscurity. Think of these routes as more than channels for goods. They were conduits for power and information. A king's authority did not stop at city walls. It extended along every path traders and soldiers could safely travel. News, royal decrees, intelligence. A well-maintained route was a sign of a strong, organized kingdom. It allowed rapid communication. The caravans and canoes navigated Nigeria's ancient trade routes carried much more than just merchandise. With every transaction, they wove a rich and complex tapestry of culture, ideas, and innovation. The goods themselves tell a fascinating story. From the north came prized salt, from the desert fine leather goods from Kano and powerful horses. In return, the south sent kola nuts, palm oil, ivory, intricately woven textiles. These exchanges were not just economic, they were a dialogue between different worlds. This constant flow of goods fostered interdependence and specialization. Communities became famous for their unique products. The Bida people became masters of glass bead making. The artisans of Benin perfected the art of bronze casting. The weavers of Akwete produced stunning cloths. These goods traveled hundreds of miles and carried the stories and aesthetic values of their creators. A woman in a northern emirate might wear beads crafted in the south. A southern chief might serve kola nuts grown hundreds of miles away. This created a shared material culture, a common language of objects that transcended ethnic and linguistic divides. Even more powerful than the trade in goods was the trade in ideas. Merchants, scholars, and pilgrims traveled these routes and brought new technologies, beliefs, and ways of thinking. The spread of Islam from the north into the Yoruba heartland of Oyo was facilitated by these trade networks. New architectural styles, new farming techniques, new forms of political organization. The routes became classrooms without walls, where knowledge was the most valuable currency. This intellectual exchange sparked innovation and creativity. Ultimately, these exchanges built bridges of understanding. A trader from the Sokoto Caliphate returning from the coast would come back with more than goods. He would return with stories of the people he met, an understanding of their customs, perhaps even a few words of their language. If these trade routes were so vital, so central to the history of Nigeria's great empires, why did they fade from our collective memory? Why did these once bustling highways become hidden roads veiled by time and mystery? The reasons are as complex as the networks themselves. One of the primary factors was the dramatic shift in global trade dynamics. The arrival of Europeans on the coast created powerful new economic centers. Trade, which had for centuries flowed along an internal north-south axis, was violently reoriented to flow from the interior directly to the coastal ports, bypassing many of the old routes. This coastal shift did not just change the direction of trade, it changed its very nature. The transatlantic slave trade, in particular, brought immense devastation and upheaval. It fueled wars, destroyed communities, and created an atmosphere of profound insecurity. For centuries, these hidden roads lay dormant, their stories locked away in the earth and in the fragmented memories of oral traditions. Today, though, a new generation of Nigerian archaeologists, international archaeologists, historians, researchers are working tirelessly to unearth these echoes of a bustling past. They're kind of like detectives, piecing together clues from a variety of sources to redraw the map of this forgotten world. This work is not easy. It requires high-tech science, patient excavation, and deep respect for local knowledge and oral histories. By excavating ancient settlements, they can uncover artifacts that provide concrete evidence of long-distance trade. For example, finding tobacco pipes of a specific design, originating from the Oyo area at an archaeological site in the Niger Delta, tells a clear story of connection. Chemical analysis of pottery shards can reveal that the clay came from a source hundreds of miles away. Rediscovering these hidden roads does more than just satisfy academic curiosity. It can fundamentally reshape how we see Nigeria's history and inspire a renewed sense of national pride and unity. For too long, our past has been fragmented, defined by ethnic divisions and by the disruptions of colonialism. These ancient trade routes offer a powerful counter-narrative. They reveal ancestors who were not isolated peoples, innovators, explorers, diplomats. A complex, interconnected world based on mutual exchange. A heritage of connection, not division. This knowledge instills deep pride. Long before outsiders arrived, Nigerians were masters of their own destiny, creating vast networks of commerce and culture across the continent. Our ancestors built empires, established sophisticated governance systems, and fostered incredible artistic traditions.